I'm Michael,
And I'm Drew.
and this is the Outward Realms podcast. And we're back for the end of April, possibly early May episode, depending on when this drops. We have returned to talk about all things OR. How are you doing, Drew?
I'm doing good. How are you, man? Get some stuff
I'm
done?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Just out there killing it. So we've got we the big thing that I want to talk about is the special little side project that I've been working on, which is the Outward Realms role playing game. Um,
Ooh.
Yes, I've been doing an alpha build of that, and there's a little tiny group running with it. We're doing games, so it's helping to bring some people into the setting and answer some really cool questions. And I will give people a very small little sneak preview of what I've been up to. So I have created a core system around the game. Obviously, it's being play tested by the playtesting role playing group,
Sure.
and I'm trying to keep it reasonably simple, reasonably quick, sort of in line with other OR products. Um, we've got. I try to narrow it down in terms of skills to keep the skill tree as basic as going. But the things I will tell people about are the archetypes. We have Augment, which is an archetype, right? Get to be an augment. You have
Absolutely.
you have the assassin operative, right? From the
Wow.
Assassin's Guild.
Yeah, okay.
House citizen. So that means you're from the core worlds, a major house, a minor house, or a charterless house.
Very
You,
cool.
you have a void-born citizen. That means you were born on a space station or a spaceship. Miners Union prospector. So those people out there. The miners union, the largest
Sure.
mining coalition in the realm.
Sure. I just got a picture of like a Prospect Pete from Toy Story
Yeah,
2. Yeah, I was
exactly.
like, as soon as you said it, I was like, prospecting? What? Like,
Yep,
okay.
yep. And the new cartographer surveyor.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
so
the
cool.
the mappers, a trade guild envoy,
Ooh.
or an unbound raider.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
a lot
things
of
to choose from,
archetypes.
a lot of archetypes to choose from. Yeah.
Yeah, your
Wow.
augment comes with augment armor, a Gatling mag cannon, and a phasic knife. Who's shocked by that?
Yep.
Your assassin operative comes with a neural disruptor and a thermal blade.
Ooh, is that like a vibro blade or like
It's just a red.
right?
It's like a white hot blade.
Nice.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent.
Your house citizen gets a mag pistol and armored clothing. So
Ooh, okay.
Voidborn citizen has a flak pistol and an armored spacesuit. Miners Union has a laser drill or an ore crusher. Those are two-handed powered melee weapons, and a Union mining suit.
I was gonna say I know a guy with 3 arms that has one of those.
Oh,
Yeah. No, that was a
I'll bet you that was a GSC joke.
yes,
Yes,
that was a GSC joke. That was not a yep. That was yep. Okay, excellent, excellent.
we better call that out.
He's got a purple face and he's one eye, but hey he's great. Steve is awesome. So
New cartographer surveyor comes with a beam pistol and a surveyor suit.
okay.
The trade guild envoy has a guild encounter suit, and that's it
Oh
because that comes with
oh yeah.
everything's built in.
Yep, yeah, I was gonna say it has yeah, you've got the Assassin's Creed, right? The or I
No,
don't know what.
actually, it's got a pair of belt-fed mag pistols on the wrists, and it
Whoa,
has a
okay.
pair of powered manipulator arms on the back.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
Okay. That's awesome.
And then you have the Unbound Raider who gets a Mazer pistol and Raider armor.
Excellent.
Yeah, so those are the core archetypes. There's a bunch of gear because makes sense. It's the future. You got a bunch of
Yep,
different stuff. We have a ton of different range weapons. You have these are the first beam weapons for
sure.
the realm. So
Okay.
like basically laser weapons. And the upside is they're pretty accurate. The downside is due to the heat buildup, they have a slow rate of fire.
Makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep. And so there's an EM gun, which is good for attacking systems and robots and things like that. Flak weapons are basically shrapnel launchers for all
Sure.
intents and purposes.
Okay.
You've got your maglock shotgun, which we know that the Augment commandos carry. That's
Yep.
your magnetically propelled shotgun.
Does it too also automatically hit?
No, there's no
Uh,
auto hit in the RPG.
got
No,
it,
no,
got it,
but
okay.
that's a great question. But we do have a spray trait in the RPG, and it
Oh,
does
very
have
nice.
that.
It makes sense,
Yep.
yep, yep, yep.
Mhm. You got your mazer pistol, mazer rifle, mazer cannon, the neural disruptor. Nothing like that is in anything else.
I was gonna say, that sounds, one of a kind.
It's pretty special, so I'll actually read the description of this one because yeah, that's the one people would have questions about.
Yep.
It says this unusual pistol-sized weapon was designed by House of Wusu for use in non-lethal as a non-lethal security device. It uses specially timed electrical pulses to cause targets to fall unconscious.
Whoa.
However, it never made it into mass production, and so finding them is uncommon or rare. The Assassin's Guild likes to keep them for silent takedown, often using them to disable their opposition and then follow up with a chem patch to keep their target asleep for the duration of the mission.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is, yeah, there was a very controversial one used in, Metroid Other M, which is very strange, but the you describe it, I'm sitting there like, "Oh my god, I've seen this before," but that's so cool. Like, where have I that's awesome, though, I like that, and these things are rare too. There's something so small that
Yeah.
can, like, paralyze a person, right? Like
Yep. But causes temporary unconsciousness. In game
yes.
terms, it makes them incapacitated for 1d6 combat rounds.
Sure.
So basically a minimum of 5 seconds all the way up to 30 seconds. Like a little blackout.
Right, right, like a
Which, if you're in a security situation and there's someone charging you or causing trouble, knocking them out
yes.
for 15 seconds,
Yep. I mean, that can be game changing, right? Like, you gotta get out and, you have, like, 15 seconds, and you're like, "Alright, boop, there you
it
go."
buys you a lot of time,
It
right, to
does.
stop a situation. And so there's a few different kinds of grenades. We have a bunch of close combat weapons. Let me see if there's anything. The laser drill, which is what you think it is, right?
Yep,
You've
yep.
got the ore crusher, a power tool used to crush rock for ore extraction. It says it can also be used on people and vehicles.
Oh, lovely. Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
of
It's
course it can.
for all those, grindhouse horror, you got it. There it is. Yep, yep.
The plasma cutter, which is a little plasma torch. The rock drill, used to drill into rock and extract ores for pulverizing and processing. Yep. The thermal blade. Yeah.
The white dagger.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then you have different kinds of armor. Some of the ones we talked about. We talked about armored clothing. You get your
Yep.
armored spacesuit, augment armor. An environment suit is kind of the classic, um, you know, spacesuit slash go into a hostile planet suit.
Right,
Those
right.
are all over the place. The
Okay.
guild encounter suit, which has the manipulator arms and the belt fed mag pistols. Pretty cool. Your raider armor, surveyor armor, union mining suit, which is a pretty tough armored
Yeah, I was gonna say you're
suit.
you're working with heavy machinery down in the mines, so that suit's gotta
Yeah,
be
you're working
fairly
in
tough.
really dangerous environments. Yeah,
Yes.
its actual special was built tough. It reduces any negative environmental checks from heat, cold, or caustic environments by 2 ranks to a minimum of a basic check, so it just passes on a single success,
Yep.
and it reduces radiation damage by half rounded up.
Wow, very nice. The
And
radiation
radiation
game.
is a pro like part of the game is remembering that radiation is a thing. You
Yep.
might go into environments that have radiation. It attacks differently than any other kind of damage.
Yeah, it makes sense. I
So,
mean, that's what radiation does in general, and
yep.
it's not infinite, right? An infinite
But
source of energy,
it's
but
highly energetic. It punches through
yes.
most things. It's
Yep.
really dangerous. And something that's worth talking about is that realm ships, the blink drives, produce a lot of radiation. Most of that is shielded and protected, but there is still some exposure.
Yep.
Augments don't care as much, but
Sure.
regular people do have to be concerned about that, right?
So this reminds me of a meme that I just saw a couple days ago. I just pulled it up here. Um, don't eat radiation. A 1 gram of uranium is roughly 20 billion calories. So don't eat 1 gram of uranium or
Don't
any
do it.
radiation. Just don't. Yep. Not even
Yeah,
in space. Not even in the future. Right. Like.
don't you do it.
Yep. Yep. Oh man.
you've got your different artificial gears, so kind of fun for that. All
Sure.
these different implants. There are the game right now has like 35 different implants.
Wow. All right. And you mentioned some of them in the last podcast too. Oh, we're
Yeah,
talking about the augments,
yeah.
right? Like, okay.
Well, we're talking about these are available for everybody too. That people can just
Oh
get
yeah, of
these.
course.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones. And then I was trying to find uh my list of chems. So there's a bunch of chemicals that are
Ooh.
for chem patches or for the chem injector
Sure.
implant. And I probably put that up at the top if I know myself. Let's see. Moving on up through the many pages. I could find it there. Hold on. No. Oh, where did I move those chemicals? I had a number of these. There we go, chems. So these are the designer chemicals. People can enjoy them.
Uh, I,
These are all
sure.
corporate designed,
Sure.
right? So there's Chrome Runner,
Okay.
which adds to your agility and initiative checks.
Of course.
Fully functional, which ignores
Oh.
penalties for being impaired and makes you a little bit more charismatic.
Are you sure that's not under the My Chemical Romance chemicals?
It's not what it says when data says it. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, but I am. Never mind. I'm not gonna make the joke. You're good. Keep going.
But other people, well, we made the joke by saying
That is also true. Yep. Yep.
nighty night, which is incapacitating. It's like
Yep.
the ultimate in sleeping and putting people to sleep. Red rage, which increases your strength and intimidation.
That is, these are the names are so beautiful. Like I feel like there's gonna be like hot fuzz moments in these RPGs where you're like nighty night, and then like you
Exactly. Hit them with
stick
a
it in,
chem
yeah, hit him
patch,
with a
put
camera
them
with
to
the pep.
sleep.
Yep, slap exactly.
And then you have Stay Frosty, which is remove any penalties for stress, pain, or intimidation, and adds to your body a little bit.
I love it. That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to get this alpha build produced and then play a bunch more sessions with my playtest group.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So the one thing that I have a question about it is, with the feedback that you've gotten so far, what are players liking most about the RPG? Is it like the story that you've created, or is it the amount of weapons and like tactical stuff that you can put on your body as a person? Or
I don't know yet.
oh,
Right
sure,
now, my players have been enjoying you know just the game in general. I think I'll
excellent.
know more as time goes on
Of
and as we
course,
start to dial this build in, right?
yeah. You'll
So
get
and
more
I'll
used
talk
to what they've got.
and I will do a cool kind of reveal session of it, right, when it's in better condition, in
Of
more
course.
robust condition, where basically I will record one of the sessions and people will understand the system a little bit and stuff.
I am I'm dying for it. I'm dying for it.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. That's
it will be a very inexpensive. Like this
cool,
will be a
cool.
drive-through RPG release. So, and just for
Perfect.
people who want to do that in the session, because we've been asked a bunch of times to do
Yep,
that. So,
yep. Excellent.
yeah, and so today's we're supposed to talk about the clans of the Batra a little bit. So you got your Duchan, your Naral, and Kamari, right? And
Yep.
we know Duchan. Duchan is very aggressive. They're very militant. They're the largest clan. They currently have the most power. They are single-handedly perpetuating the war against the realm, like keeping it going.
Dang. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like they were the ones who were hurt first by them, and they've been very unforgiving.
Yeah, they right, you said what is it? Like a hobby, right? They stick to it, they'll do it for a few years. Dukan is like
Like hundreds
uh,
of years
100,
of
yep.
war, right?
Hate exactly, exactly.
Yeah, they're pretty they're pretty upset. And that has not changed over time. And we have you've got your Naral and Kamari. I'm gonna make sure I get them right. So
Sure,
I'm
sure.
pulling
Yep.
up my I'm gonna pull up
So,
the
yes, let me pull up my 130-page document of my lore. Yep, yep. Let's do
I
control. Control F,
I
right?
sense mockery.
No, you're
Damn,
fine.
dude.
I'm
Oh, and you
sorry.
know who? And you know what house I forgot? The most important house in the
For the
entire game.
for Batra
Um,
in the or sorry,
no, 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 no. For the
for
realm in
Realm
the
in
previous,
the last
I
one.
didn't
Oh,
mention House
no.
Sedana. No, no, I didn't mention House Sedana because I think everyone knows about them because that's the
Oh,
house the game is currently focusing on.
there you
But
go.
yeah,
The guys in red,
yeah,
right? That's them.
yep,
Okay, okay.
yeah. Anyway,
So 6 houses in 1 building. Got it.
no, it's
Yep.
5 houses in one building. I just forgot to bring House
Oh, you're
Sedana
fine.
up.
Got it, got it, got
But
it.
it
Okay.
doesn't. I don't even think I think everyone knows about them, and I don't even process it. But anyway, I want to apologize for our House Sedana fans.
No, you're
Sorry,
good,
Noah.
you're good. Yep.
And then so in Clan Juchon, their rules really exemplate that impetuous nature. When they perform an engage, they ignore rough terrain, and they add 3 inches to their move characteristic when they engage. So
Dang, that's really good.
yeah, they really hustle across the board.
Yeah.
Kamari is the naturally wary. They're the ones who are being very cautious, and they are very cautious by nature. They're very restrained, and they, whenever they can, they will always attack from ambush. They
Okay.
always want to try to have an advantage.
Yep, yep.
They're not. They don't want to throw themselves into the line of fire, and
S
they have our redeploy rule, right?
Got it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So they're the botcher that walk around with 2 buttons for cloaking, even though the second even though
cloak and
the
cloak and
sec
cloak harder.
yeah, the second button doesn't do anything, but it makes them feel safer because they've double checked themselves.
Cloak tougher, cloak
Yep,
harder.
yep, cloak harder, exactly. I want to be more invisible, please.
Just at the dance, they're cloaked against the wall. Can't even ask them.
Yeah, they're just kinda standing in the back.
They're
Wait,
just
was
not even there.
the si yeah, the
And you have
Cool.
Clan Naral. They are the diplomats,
Excellent.
and they are also researchers and innovators. So they're actually the ones who are doing limited trading with the Unbound.
Oh, interesting, okay.
Yeah, and they're the most contact humanity has had that's not violent, right?
Excellent, yeah, I was gonna say they're traders, right? So,
Yep,
okay.
that's those the Neural folks. Yeah.
What did Zukan think of Neural? Do they, like,
Well,
look down
they're
upon the other
kind of
Batra
all in
or
opposition with each other, right? Like
Ah, I see, okay.
Duchan thinks that Kamari is too cautious and too like they're not calling to their warrior spirit. They think that Naral is, you know, they can't call it like consorting with the enemy, but that's how they feel about it.
Got it, got it. They can't say it outright, but
Well, no, because it's not against the rules. They're not at war with humanity. They're at war with the realm.
that's
Yep. So
I
the
yep,
Batra can interact with the other ones.
I always forget that, yeah, no, that's really cool.
Hmm.
Excellent, excellent.
But they definitely look down upon it and think that it's all you're doing is just giving them more to work with, kind of thing,
Got it. So
right?
what you're saying is if like a realm army suddenly comes across a thingy of a Batra clutch of Dukan, they go, "Oh my god, rip off your patches!" and they rip off all of their all of their realm stuff and like quick hide it, right? They get the pirate flag falling down the side of their spaceship, like, okay, no, we're just regular people passing through. We love
Nope,
you guys.
Duchan
Okay.
Duchan will
Yep.
take you out anyway. They
Yep,
don't.
absolutely,
They're
absolutely.
not.
They're like, that's wait a minute, that's not
We're
exactly.
not. This doesn't fool us. You're trying to be good at camouflage. That's our thing.
Right, exactly. Can you cloak? I didn't think so. Blah.
Nope. It's true. We can't. Boo.
Yep, not yet, not yet.
It's a big downer. So we got some great listener questions. We have mirror. Do Nightfall have a quotes in quotes lifespan? I.e., could a Nightfall mine eventually die due to parts wearing out, being able to be repaired? No. A worst possible case scenario would be a mind. To kill a mind, you'd have to destroy all of its copies. Now, every copy is different in its own way. They do drift. They do have their own experiences. They start to deviate the moment that they're copied.
Sure,
So you
okay,
could destroy that particular unique copy, right?
okay.
Um,
The only way that you could destroy it is by rolling dice. That
That's right.
yeah,
That's
that's
right.
it? Okay,
That's
excellent,
right.
excellent.
Yeah.
Good to know.
You could attack it and destroy it that way. They don't really wear down. They're
Okay.
designed for longevity, and yeah, their self repair systems are good,
Sure.
and they're not when they're in deep space. They're not terribly active unless they're making things like manufacturing nodes.
Got it. So they're
So
very asleep until the
yeah,
time calls for them to come up to do something, whether it
right when they
be
detect something interesting, right?
yes.
So no, they don't die of a natural cause.
Okay.
Wichita says, "What exactly is launching the Hexagon Warrior spikes? Complicating launching organs, chemicals, specially designed muscles. What actually is making the spikes in the first place? Is it like how clams make pearls?"
They're just so angry that they can't claw you, and they use
Yeah,
that anger
it's
to
true.
shoot their claws
Yeah,
at you.
it's very harsh language.
Yes, exactly. That's what they yep, yep.
Yeah, it's how to make the D&D joke. It's how vicious mockery works.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
same principle. No, they actually generate the bone spikes. They grow them inside. Yeah, the clam analogy is probably not a bad one. And they use
Sure.
muscle contraction and gas, stored up gas, compressed gas to fire them. So
Sure. And where does it come out of? Does it come out of the claws or
yeah,
does it come out of like your backs?
the claw has that little hole
Yeah.
in it. You can
Mhm.
see where it actually the aperture is.
That's
So yeah.
awesome.
And it said, would a spike go through an unarmored human or would it get stuck? Um, I think it depends on where it hits. It
Close
is an
range,
armor-piercing weapon, so it'd probably go right through,
a normal
is my
person.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Okay. Okay.
So, CDC 707 asks, "Been reading the unit lore and army lore on the site. We know the Hexagon Queens have called a kind of ceasefire to deal with outside threats, and they plan to colonize other worlds. Would that alleviate pressure or increase it?" Um, so they 100% are terraforming and taking territories. That is happening. They're yeah, the ceasefire is only on the Hexagoda homeworld. So they are
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
They still fight everywhere else. So only on the homeworld.
I apologize to those Hexagoda players who have multiple Hexagoda players in their area, and they're like, "We don't want to
Mm,
fight because we don't fight," and then it's like, "Oh, we're not on the home world anymore."
yep,
Right? Like,
precisely.
there it goes.
Yeah, and they do want those conflicts because it, clears out the weakened ones, allows them to test things out, devises strength.
Right,
It
right.
is something that feels natural to them,
Sure.
right? They don't there's no retirement plan for Hexagoda. Okay. The Epic Space Marine asks, "Speaking of ceasefire, is there a written agreement or a written document or something solid so the ceasefire is there, or is it just written agreement?" Yeah, so the Hexagoda don't have an alphabet. Um, they don't really write things down. They use the construct to store thought data and
Okay.
access it as a database like that. Um, so if that answers your question,
And is it
it's not written down. They just agreed upon it, and it's held so far.
yeah,
And
and they
because it's so limited in scope, like the queens don't really see it as a detriment.
yeah, and then their whole system, and we talked about this again on the podcast, one of the earlier episodes, that the Hexagoda like do everything like psychically, like that's how they talk. That's how
Yeah,
so they don't really, you give something one a pen and a paper, and they don't right like
they don't have a need for it because
yes,
the only things that can perceive the data anyway all have psychic capabilities.
yes,
So
yep, yep.
balancing Nika 42, that's you.
That is me.
Uh,
Yes,
the new you.
the new me.
Do the Hexagon queens and queenlings watch other Hexagon fight other races to learn their weaknesses? Since most of Hex factions cyclically link, 100%. Yeah, I mean, yes, they can perceive through any part of their swarm, and so they will 100% watch what's happening and learn from that.
Sure.
Um, makes complete sense. Good
And
question.
my next question is, could another queen from another group ask like another queen of another group to like join to like psychically link with another queen
They
together
would
to like
retain
look?
control over their own swarms, but they could work together
Okay. Okay.
because they psychically communicate, right?
Got
But
yes.
like no queenling would give up control of their swarm to another queen.
Got it.
That's
Uh,
nonsense.
I'm
They would
thinking
be
of
like,
well,
no.
not give it up. I'm just thinking like, okay, so we've got like my queenling with her army is coming in, and all of a sudden there's a little psychic message of um, like red queenling 42 wants to join to like watch your match to learn from what's happening, right? Like, do you want them to psychically join you to see? Can they see? Can the queen see together? Can two queens see psychically together?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
the big queen can see through any one of the queenlings.
Yes.
The queenlings can see through any part of their swarm, and that's
Got
the
it.
chain
Yeah,
of
command.
seeing. But
Perfect.
queens can exchange memories. So
Oh,
a
okay.
queen could choose to do it, right?
Excellent.
The queenlings can't. The queenlings have the big uplink. They're the big connection to the construct.
Perfect. I love this whole consensual, like, can I have some of those memories? And they're like,
Yeah, can I want
yes,
to
you
view your
may.
stream, your Twitch stream.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it and that was kind of the joke I was trying to get at, right? Like trying to like log in, like give me the password so I can watch you, right? Like
And you had another good question, says, "Do worker swarms have eyes?" Um, so the workers themselves do not.
yeah,
Okay?
the artwork doesn't have eyes for them. They look
No,
very scary. They're very cool.
they have no eyes.
Yep.
They use thermal sensing organs and vibration and smell.
Perfect. Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
gave mine tarantula eyes because they look scary and really weird. So it's like, all right, I yeah, just like fat,
I
like
like how
one
you're put
fat
off by
red. And
like no eyes. It's like it has to have some eyes, some number of eyes.
well, my wife is very much like I don't know. There's actually a condition that we're pretty sure she has it where seeing multiple circles like together
Hmm.
is like it doesn't like trigger her, but she like can't look at it. It makes her sick. And so that was
Mm.
kind of like I don't know, I'm trying to be like creepy and I'm not trying to like make the army, to like bug her out.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm
Ah, I
looking
see
at
what
like,
you did
oh,
there.
those circular yeah, right, but yeah, looking at it like tarantula eyes, man, are like creepy, dude. Even to me, I'm looking at them like I can't sit there and stare like as you stare at it and you're like, oh my god, like but yeah, so I gave mine eyes because I think they look a lot scarier. So
Wichita didn't ask a question, but I thought it was funny. It said the thing on the back is not a spike launcher; it's just a big, oddly positioned schnoz, which I laughed at.
I mean, they do have holes in between their legs in the back, so it's like, well,
The
worker
the thing
swarms at
that looks
least.
like the thing that looks like a hop that's like used in beer on their
Sure.
back.
Yep.
That's the spike launcher. So, or their little needle launcher. They launch the needles
Yep,
with.
yep, yep.
So,
They're Halo needle launchers on the
yeah,
that was the
yeah, they're
first thing I
little.
thought
They're
of when I
little.
saw them. Yeah, they're
Super
great.
funny.
The models are so cool too. They're
Oh, thank you.
yeah, no, seriously. I out of all the miniatures, I think the warriors and the workers are mwah, they're the best.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, and those were our core questions from the OR Discord. I want to also give a shout out to the best in tabletop network. If folks are interested in really good 40K content, they should head on over to them. And the I think it's $10 a month gets you into the Discord and gets you into the like paywall subscriber side of
All the
things.
things. Mhm.
They also produce a lot of free content, so you can like try before you buy. Go on in. Um, they have a lot of really great shows now. They've got the Best in Faction, of course, classic, over 100 episodes. They have the Next Generation, which is younger folks who are just like winning event after event and talking about it. Really strong players, really good thinking. You have Frontiers, which is overseas. So like
Wow, okay.
they're talking about like Japan, Asia,
Yeah.
Australia, New Zealand, like a section of 40K that doesn't get much coverage. They're covering it. And so that's great. They recently had a guest on about Korea. So if you want to learn about Korea 40K, you can. Yep.
That is so cool because I know that GW and especially a lot of tabletop games really they're really taking a back seat over there, at least up until a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now GW is really trying to push out and get the people playing these games
Yep.
everywhere, all over the world now, and people are there. Like I know that X-wing is not GW, but one of
No.
our world's winners, one year was from Singapore, and it was just so
Wow.
cool. Like, man, you came all the way out and like you know, had a
That's
great
super
time.
cool.
It was really cool, and it's so fun to see different communities from different cultures all over the world play the same game, have a good
Oh
time.
yeah.
So,
It's a great way to form commonality and and meet these cool people.
yeah.
And the last thing is Colin has worked very hard on this. He's now releasing these battle reports that have telestration, like in football, where they show things circled and moving and stuff.
Yes,
And they're an hour. Everything's sped up. And so
yes,
the people who played the game are talking about what they did and breaking stuff down. And so you get
yes.
an entire battle in 1 hour.
Oh my god, Mike, I for the longest time in my life, I could never understand why people didn't do what like the NFL does. It's
Yep.
so like the play-by-plays and going back and forth, like I'm so excited that we have people now doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
Really, that's
absolutely. So they're doing great work over at Best in Tabletop Network for folks who have that cross energy where they play 40K and other games. Head on over there and have a look. And of
that'll be
course, and on Expanded, they host us, so
absolutely,
that's
yes, of
why we're
course.
talking about it.
OR's on it as well. Yeah, I'm gonna start looking into their stuff because the other bugs are coming out soon. And I'm
And
sitting here like, okay.
I'm gonna
Like,
do a little impromptu thing because we have a little bit more time.
we do have some time actually. Yeah,
Yeah, we have a little bit more time, and actually, it's something interesting to talk about that I just want to talk about with you. This is completely off the cuff. It's outside of the scope of the syllabus, as it were. So,
sure.
but what do you think? So we know that 40K is in an interesting position game wise right now, and this has a
Yes,
bit of a tie-in to OR. But first, let me explain for folks who don't follow 40K what I'm talking about.
absolutely.
They have a handful of factions which are at a 65% or above win rate, including one faction that has an 80% win rate.
Yikes.
Yeah, and so I want to talk about win rate a little bit. And win rate, basically anything that's you want your win rates to be between 45 and 55%,
Right,
right?
55 I think is a little high, but
Me too. Me
it's within the
too.
realm of that's where you
If
kind of
all
want
your
it, right?
factions are there, you're okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And so but when you exceed that, it especially when you compensate for things like the mirror, which is the same powerful faction playing itself.
Yep.
So you adjust your numbers for that. That 80% is pretty crazy. When you take that away, it's like 90%.
Oh.
It's
Even
basically
that's
not losing,
yep. Yep.
except against itself, which is really rough. And I want to talk about that from an OR perspective as well,
Sure.
because when we're learning this game and we're developing and building it out, we notice things too, trends that are strong, things that are powerful, that are causing a negative play experience for players. And the way we approach it is we take it to the play testers, of which you are one of them.
Yes,
You're
I
what
love it.
you're in the playtest A group. We
Sure.
have two different groups. We have A and B. The two do not communicate or know about each other.
Nope.
This is intentional.
Secret.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It
the reason we use A/B methodology is because I don't have both sides testing the same things.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah,
I was just about to jump in. I got a really good friend of mine who's been in the gaming industry for a lot longer than I have. And he has done tons of stuff where he's like made his own games, and I have helped play test some of those for him as well. Nothing that was ever
yeah,
made into anything, but he is really technical, and it was so great when I started playtesting with you, Mike, and for OR, you know, I never divulged anything that like, you know, you signed the
yeah,
NDA, right? And you do the thing. But speaking with him about it, he was like, "Yes, that this is how you play test. This is how you do it right."
yeah.
And I have also
What were
when
those things they mentioned?
the big thing was the different playtesting groups, keeping things separated. So my NDA with FFG for the old X-Wing 1.0 is long terminated, so I can talk
Yeah.
openly about it. But they had everyone together, and
Mhm.
what really tore the gaming community apart, at least behind the scenes, was that you had groups of people coming together and lying about how good things were to convince the developers that
Oh.
this was okay to keep in the game and that it would
Hmm.
be released. And the problem is all of those playtesting groups were all together and all collectively could like see this happening. And so
Oh.
that created like us versus them, where there's the group that thinks it's really good, and then there's the group that thinks it's really bad, who knows it's good.
Right.
And if you have enough games put out that like, oh look, it's horrible, then they'll be like, oh yeah, well we'll keep it like that, right? And so keeping playtesting groups separate, you can kind of stop that, because you have one
Yeah.
group that's like, hey, this is really broken, and then you take it to the second group and are like, hey, I just want you to try out like this keyword, like try this
Yep.
one thing, and then that group is like, well no, actually that's not, like, seems kind of weird, and you have
Yep.
the information that you pull is so it's wonderful, it's great, and so that was
Well,
the
it
biggest
really
takeaway.
really helps. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And so I want to talk about the Batra bit because the Batra win rates were higher than expected, right?
Interesting.
And
Okay.
we know why, right? They had three things that were making them excel beyond the bounds of the original planet, which
Interesting.
were
Okay.
which we know cloak.
Sure, that
Cloak is
was
a mechanic which is a skill cap mechanic. It
okay.
requires a lot of skill to play around.
Yes, absolutely.
We know that they have the most armor piercing, access to the most armor piercing,
Sure, sure.
and we know that they have very high speed, right?
I ate it. Yeah, it
Their
was a 7
movement
inch or 8 inch, wasn't it?
characteristics are high, right?
Yeah.
Like their average person, their average infantry or heavy infantry is moving 7 inches,
Okay.
which is pretty
That's a
great.
lot, yeah.
Um, they have their transports, which are quite fast. They have the fastest unit in the game with the predation pods. So just over and with combined with the clan Duchan increased engage,
Yeah,
the get up and go was quite high.
right.
And and so altogether, um, there's it's probably not terribly surprising, but there are maybe some folks who don't know. There's going to be when the core rulebook comes out, it has the a big balance adjustment. And that big balance adjustment is, it looks at them, it looks at all the factions. It's a reconciliation and a change to the game reflecting the many months that it's sat there being played and we're getting data back and
Sure.
we've gotten more play testers since we even when we first started. And
That's great.
you included, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Um, no, so I am so excited too, and I think the biggest thing too, and a lot of I'm hoping that Batra players listening to this aren't like suddenly like, oh my god, my faction, right? Like,
No, it's
no.
not like that at all. Believe me, it's not.
Yes, and
In
I
fact, we brought back a mechanic that never made it into the original game
wow,
because
okay.
it was too strong at that point in the game.
Got it.
But now with the game how it is, we think it's perfect.
Excellent. And that was the one thing that I did want to take away, at least from what I have seen,
Yep.
especially when it comes to Batra themselves. Every change that has been made is literally just making the game better.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is the game that I want to play, right? Doesn't
Well,
take up too
thank you.
much
Thank
doesn't
you.
take up too much board space, not a whole lot of miniatures. The miniatures look amazing. The rule set is incredible. The like objectives and the style, the secondaries are so cool. It really I cannot wait, right? Like I'm forced
It
to
I
yeah.
promise everyone is going to be like really excited. And the core rulebook drop is literally the biggest thing we've done since we launched the game.
Yep. Yep.
It
Yep.
represents an enormous amount of undertaking and work, and not just it's from every level, not just the rules, you have all that lore, you have, you know, everything is getting bigger, everything is getting not the table size, right? But like everything is
Absolutely.
being expanded upon. It's just
Yes.
really
Yep.
it's really cool. And so that is coming very soon. And we'll
Perfect.
talk about it on the main site. We'll talk about it on the Discord. I'll drop a post on the Facebook. It will not be hidden.
Oh,
So
perfect. Excellent. Yeah, and of
we're
course
not
when
hiding this, right?
right, right, right. Well, yeah, it's on the podcast, right? But then at the same time, we're gonna talk about it here, right? Like I'm sure
Oh,
we'll walk through
we'll
it
do
like when
an
it drops.
we'll
I'm
do an
so
entire episode about it, I
oh, I
guess.
cannot
Yeah.
wait.
Give you a chance to go over it, come up with what you want to come up. I mean, it will spawn whole swaths of new user questions. Like it'll be
Yep.
great. Our
Yep.
player questions. I love it.
Wonderful.
And that's this episode. I think we got there.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, Drew, and I'll be seeing you next time. Thanks for everyone who listened.
Yeah, we'll talk to you
Bye
guys next
bye.
month. Bye.
Bye.